Ok, so hola. Hoy ustedes van a tomar apuntes sobre toda la información necesaria para conjugar verbos en el tiempo pretérito. Ok, es un repaso de los tiempos en el pasado, los tiempos verbales en el pasado. Y el pretérito es el más complejo, sí, tiene más reglas y vamos a aprender no aprender, más repasar las conjugaciones y las reglas. Ok, pues para empezar, al principio de la primera página de apuntes, es importante saber que usamos el pretérito para hablar de cosas que ocurrieron una vez. So your most basic rule for using the preterite at the very top of the first page, and it is not included in this presentation here, so you do need to listen, is that we use it to talk about things that happened once. Cosas que ocurrieron una vez. That is the most basic rule, and it will get more complicated fairly shortly, but for now, that's what you need to know. Okay? Y ahora, a seguir con la presentación. Okay? Para conjugar los verbos en el pretérito, van a quitar las últimas dos letras del infinitivo. And guess what? It is something else you have to pay attention to. Okay? So we have las últimas dos letras del infinitivo would be, let's see if I can actually write here, AR. No one ever said I could write beautifully. ER, O, I-R. Okay, so A-R, E-R, O, I-R. All right? Keep that in mind as far as things go, okay? And we're going to continue. No, I don't want the pen anymore, so thing. All right, so first thing you need to know, las terminaciones para los verbos AR, because you do, of course, once you get rid of those endings, need to add on the appropriate endings to conjugate verbs in the preterite. And you have here aste, o, amos, astes, aron, and that's for your AR verbs. And then for your ER, so actually write that down before I go on. So you can use if I had that on the same slide, because on other presentations I likely do, but not on this one. It is very important to make sure you get those accents there, because for these two forms, if you do not have the accent, it means something fairly different. Same verb, but something fairly different. So please keep that in mind, okay? Para los verbos ER e IR, las terminaciones son I, iste, yo, imos, istes, ieron. And once again, be aware, okay, you need to have those accents. It is important. So ahora vas a pausar el video, vas a escoger dos verbos, un verbo AR y otro verbo ER o IR de la lista de vocabulario. Y vas a conjugar estos dos verbos para practicar. Cuando estés listo o lista, vas a seguir. Ahora vamos a hablar de los cambios de ortografía. Es importante saber que verbos que terminan con las letras car, gar y sar tienen un cambio de ortografía en la forma yo. So these verbs only have a spell change in the yo form. Okay? Only, only, only. En la forma yo, los verbos que terminan con car usan la terminación que, Q-U-E, Q-U-E, con acento sobre la E. Y debes escribir unos verbos que terminan con car. Aparcar, to park. Buscar, to look for or to search. Indicar, to indicate or to show, like indicating or showing, where something is, see? Sacar, to get, or in certain expressions, to take or take out. Significar, to signify or to mean. And tocar, to touch or to play an instrument. En la forma yo, los verbos que terminan con gar tienen la terminación ge, G, U, E con acento, ¿sí? Y unos verbos que usted debe saber que terminan con gar son apagar, to turn off or to put out, conjugar, to conjugate, jugar, to play sports or games. Jugar also, no, actually in the preterite it's completely normal. So listen, I was thinking present tense there for a second. Y llegar, to arrive, y pagar, to pay. También hay unos verbos que terminan con zar, Z-A-R, y estos verbos tienen la terminación C-E con acento. Unos verbos que terminan con zar son abrazar, to hug, almorzar, to eat lunch, analizar, to analyze, cruzar, to cross, empezar, and comenzar, which are two ways of saying to begin, rechazar, which is to reject or refuse, and utilizar, which is to use or utilize. Ahora pausa el video otra vez y escoge un verbo car, un verbo gar, y un verbo sar, preferably from the vocab list, but I do believe it might be on the gar list where you're not going to find it on the vocab list. Keep that in mind. Al final de la página 2. Cuando estés listo o lista, empieza otra vez. Hay más verbos también con cambio de ortografía, ¿ok? Verbos que terminan con EER, like leer y creer, UIR, like construir y seguir, y el verbo oír, which means to hear, tienen un cambio de ortografía en las formas él, usted y ellos, ustedes. Y la letra I cambia a I griega because you're not allowed to have 3 vowels in a row unless there's an accent on one of those middle vowels. So that's why you have that change, okay? So, una vez más, unos verbos que tienen este cambio, construir, to build or to construct, creer, leer y seguir. Seguir también tiene cambio de raíz, a stem change, and that stem change does stick in the preterite, okay? Hacia el principio de página 3, conjuga el verbo construir para practicar. Okay, we're going to keep coming at you with a lot of information here. I do know it's a lot, so I would advise taking a break if needed, okay, before you get to this, if you need to, okay? Para los verbos con cambio de raíz, no todos los verbos con cambio de raíz en el presente tienen cambio de raíz en el pretérito, okay? Los únicos verbos que cambian en el pretérito son verbos que tienen cambio de raíz en el presente, pero son verbos también que terminan con IR. So the only verbs that stem change in the preterite are verbs that are both stem changers in the present that are also and IR verbs. You'll notice that all of the verbs that are down here, okay, all of these verbs, todos, they all have stem changes in the present and in the preterite, okay? And the thing you need there is a little bit of a difference in the way it works, okay? So we'll keep that in mind in a second. So, unos verbos con cambio de raíz en el pretérito son dormir, to sleep, mentir, to lie, morir, to die, pedir, to ask for or to order, preferir, to prefer, seguir, to follow, y servir, to serve. Oh, hang on. Before we get to that, what you do need to be aware of, okay? En el pretérito, solo hay cambio de raíz en la tercera persona singular y plural. So you only have the stem change in the él, usted, ellos, ellas, ustedes form. So keep that in mind. So la forma él, usted, la forma ellos, ellas, ustedes. And there are only 2 changes that are made. So verbs that have an O there, so dormir, morir, they change from an O to a U in those 2 conjugations. And the verbs mentir, pedir, preferir, seguir, and servir change from I to I in those 2 conjugations in the preterite, okay? So ahora pausa el video otra vez. Mira los verbos que escribiste en la caja para verbos con cambio de raíz, okay, en la tabla. Escoge un verbo que cambie de O a U, so that's either dormir or morir, y un verbo que cambie de E a I, so one that changes from I to I, en el pretérito y conjugados abajo. Okay. Ahora, casi. It looks like there's a lot here, but we mainly have a couple of big charts and not as much necessarily, hopefully, for you to have to get down. So, para los verbos irregulares, primera cosa, no hay acentos. Cuando usamos los verbos irregulares en el pretérito, no hay acentos, ¿ok? Hay un grupo de verbos que usa las terminaciones que están aquí. E, iste, o, imos, istes, ieron. So this is one irregular set of endings for all of the verbs that you see at the bottom of Página 4. So if you want some assistance as you do a couple of practice on the top of page 5 and putting these together, how you put this together, please feel free to call me over. I am more than happy to give you a hand, okay? You'll notice all of these verbs have irregular stems in the preterite. Oops, and I mistyped a star here. Hang on, let me see. I can get something else here. It's a pen. I screwed up a star, so let's see if we can fix this here. Even with my crappy handwriting. So we'll do estuve. Silly senor, I read this through for typos and I still did not get it right. So please, it's estuve with the blank. Okay? So, but andar, it means to walk. You have anduv. Estar, which is one of the two verbs it means to be, is estuve. Once again, I apologize for the typo there that I did not notice. Tener, to have, is tuv. Hacer, to make or to do, is is, H-I-C. However, you do need to be aware that in the LA usted form, the reason why you got that little star there is the LA usted form is hizo. So LA usted hizo. So you got that C there for every other form except for LA usted hizo. It would help if I could draw a Z now, wouldn't it? Silly senor. Okay? So hizo, and it's supposed to be black. It looks more gray to me. That's all right. Okay? All right? But everything else is HIC. So hice, HICE, hiciste, HICISTE. The only one that has that Z is the LA usted form. Poder, to be able to. Poner, to put it in place. So poder pud, poner pus. Querer, to want, quis. Saber, soup, be aware. I would strongly advise noting that saber in the preterite means to find out. We're used to it in the present tense, talking about to know facts or information, but in the preterite it means to find out. And venir, vin. Pausa el video una vez más. Escoge dos verbos de la lista en la página 4 y conjúgalos, por favor, ¿sí? All right, ahora terminar. No, I did not want to do that. Hang on. Okay, I need to kind of get rid of that whole mess there, don't I? Because I don't quite know what happened there. Give me 1 second, I'll get back to my mouse instead of this ridiculousness. Because I know I just jumped about 2 or 3 slides there. Give me 1 moment, I apologize. Mouse. All right, hang on. Let me get back to the appropriate slide here. I apologize. So, here we are. So you'll notice in the middle of Página 5, I do have a list of endings that is slightly different. And these endings go with the verbs that are at the bottom of Página 5. So, so you need to make sure you write down the verbs and the meanings. And also la raíz rara in the next box. So conducir, to drive. You have conduc. Decir, to say or to tell. Dich, traducir, to translate. Traduc. Y traer, to bring. Trach. All right. Finally, para terminar, okay, hay 3 verbos completamente irregulares. 2 of them do, however, share a conjugation. See? So ser e ir. Fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuistes, fueron. You may need to pause the video for a second because I am going to move on. Y finalmente, para terminar, dar, to give. Di, diste, dio. Dimos, distes, dieron. Muchas gracias por tu paciencia y todo eso. Y hasta la próxima. Gracias.